I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about my ex pushes me away. Okay, so oftentimes we wind up dating people that continually push us away in our relationship. They don't like too much closeness, or they don't like as much closeness as you like. And one of the things that can be really difficult to understand is that sometimes we're with a partner that doesn't want as much closeness as we do. And our anxiety causes us to completely ignore that in our relationship. And of course, it's going to happen in a breakup. But people enjoy a different amount of closeness and distance in a relationship. And you're never really going to date somebody who wants the exact same amount, or wants the same amount at the same time as you. And so it could be really frustrating to be with a partner who maybe really likes to be by themselves, and you're always wanting to be close, or the other way around. So today I'm going to be doing an email that really gets into that. I think you're going to see how helpful it can be to understand these dynamics. So the email I wanted to focus on today is about when you're with a partner that keeps pushing you away. And the email's from a guy in his late 20s, and he's dating a woman in her mid-20s, and they've been together for about a year and a half. He was telling me a little bit about her family life and said that her parents were separated at a young age. So I guess they got divorced when she was little. Her mother is extremely anxious, single, and puts the father down. So think about that. If you grow up in a home with a dynamic where your mother is constantly putting down your dad, you're probably going to be, at first, not understanding why mom is doing that when your dad is treating you well, if your dad is treating you well, and then getting angry and, looking at mom like, why are you treating him so poorly? And that's going to affect their ability to get close and trust people or get into healthy relationships. He said that both mother and father had many partners. Okay, so that could be a poor sign of their ability to handle closeness or handle attachment in relationships. He says, she told him, "I don't see this lasting. This isn't what I want." That hurts. You hear somebody tell you, "I don't see this lasting, this isn't what I want," it hurts. It literally will cause you physical pain. I asked her what she did want, and she said, "I don't know." Well, if they tell you "I don't know," that's not a good sign, right? Because "I don't know" means not you, right? Like it's I'm confused, but it's not a definitive "I want you, I want to work this out." I asked her if there was someone else, and she said yes. Feelings started to develop a few weeks ago, but nothing happened. Well, I have to applaud her honesty there, because most people are going to lie. I'll be honest, I see a lot of people that will come and tell you there's nobody else, and there is, and you find out later on. That's what gave me the push to do this. Okay, so there you have it. She's saying, that's what gave me the push to break up with him, right? And what do I tell you? A man never throws away his only pair of shoes. Of course, it's not true all the time, but here we have it. She found somebody else, she lined up somebody else, and that is why she decided to walk away. He said, "I was very upset. I didn't scream or cry. I asked her if there was anything I could do to change her mind. I told her I didn't want to break up. I gathered her things and put them on the bed beside her. She asked me, surprised, if I wanted her to leave. Then she started crying. I let her leave." He goes on to say, Craig, my ex and I met shortly after she got out of a toxic 6-year relationship. But I was assured by friends and family that it had really been over years before. Okay, so she had stayed in a relationship for years even though it wasn't healthy. And I wonder how much or how little the parents and family really know, or friends and family really know about that situation. I wrongly assumed that, hey, I'm not a bad guy. We'll just take this slow and figure it out. We hit it off. After a few months, she said, I can't give you a relationship. I want to date other people. Okay, so she had just come out of that long-term relationship and probably thought, this is too much too soon. I'm not ready for this. I want to date other people. It really hurt, but I understood. Clearly, she wasn't over it. We didn't talk for about a month. She tried, but I told her to stop. Then, one day she came over saying that there was something here, and we got back together. She was very supportive and helpful about a lot of things. She would often open up, but then if I kept nudging her along to continue the conversation, she would stop dead in her tracks and change the subject. Okay, so in the beginning she was opening up and she was friendly, but you wanted her to be as open as you like to be. And you wanted to feel that connection to her, but she wasn't comfortable with that, so she stopped dead in the tracks and changed the subject. I didn't think much of it. It kept happening more and more. She would also say things like, my mother is crazy. She always gets drunk and talks badly about my father. She idolizes her father. So that would definitely affect her view on relationships if you see your parents like that or an unhealthy relationship like that. She would give me little slivers of opening up, but then would stonewall me. I started to become a little paranoid, like I was doing something wrong or I hurt her feelings. So that makes me suspect you have an anxious attachment style. She has an avoidant attachment style. You're trying to get close. She doesn't like it. And she's pushing you away, shutting you off. One time, right before Thanksgiving, we were planning our route to go away to meet my family for the weekend. The day before, she said she didn't want to go and brings up that she feels like I'm using her for her vehicle. I told her how I was hurt and that she would think that and hold it against him. Okay, so this makes me suspect that she has an avoidant attachment style. They often say things that come out of left field and they make it as truth, and then that's their reason for not doing whatever it is they want to do. So in this case, he probably wasn't using her for the car. She says, I feel like you're using me for the car. But there's no evidence to base this. So how are you supposed to argue with something that comes out of nowhere and there's no logical sense behind it? You're going to be like, what makes you think that? Well, I just think that you're using me for my car. Yeah, but okay. You know what I mean? Like, what would make you think that? Like, and then they'll be like, oh, I just think you are. They'll shut you off. That's something that avoidants commonly do. Come up with something that is completely out of nowhere and there's no truth to it, but they act as if it's true, and now they have a reason not to get close to you, not to do that thing, and you're sitting there like, this doesn't make any sense. I became unhappy with my jobs and I was working 12-hour shifts. I was exhausted all the time. We didn't get to see each other very often, and when we did, she was more and more disconnected each time. I started to feel very isolated and told her that I missed my friends and we don't see each other often and that I missed her. Nothing. So, he has tried to repair this. He has tried to get close to her, but it doesn't get him anywhere. A few months went by. It was our anniversary. I asked her later that evening, what do you think of the past year? She says, I feel weird. That's not a good answer. If you ask them on your anniversary about the last year and they say, I feel weird, you better perk up those ears and start listening, because something's happening. I didn't know what to say. I asked her if she was scared, tired, sick, happy, sad, depressed, etc. She started bawling. I kept prying because I could see that clearly something was wrong. Please just tell me what's wrong. It's as if she fell asleep with her eyes open. Okay, so it sounds like she's a little disconnected and she's just kind of dissociated from everything as she's just sitting there, right? That was months ago, a day or two after she said, I will talk when I'm ready. So I backed off and told myself I wasn't going to pry like that again. So I became excruciatingly patient with her. She never told me, by the way. So he must have been so frustrated. He's trying so hard to be patient with her, but it's not getting him anywhere. We started talking about moving in together. It would be much easier if we just lived together, she'd often say. Then came the judgment, criticism, and indifference. Well, that negativity would certainly make you feel terrible inside and not feel safe in the relationship. And criticizing you is a good way from keeping you from getting close to her. Exclude me lying about plans. Oh, okay, so she would lie to him about making plans, okay? That's what he was trying to say. Saying she didn't want to eat at certain restaurants after I'd suggest splitting a huge meal in half. And she said that was too awkward. Criticizing my cooking skills when I would bring her breakfast in bed. The eggs are too cold. Too much cream in the coffee. Finding all kinds of fault with everything that you do. And, you try and please them, and they just push you away. She would get livid when I posted our relationship status online after a year of being together. That should tell you something's going on right there, right? He posts they're in a relationship and she gets livid. Now, he probably should have talked to her about that first. But, if you're happy with somebody after a year, they're probably not going to be livid, right? Getting upset with me, asking about the future. So, he would ask about the future, she would get mad. All trying to keep him at a distance. I felt like I couldn't do right by her no matter what I did or no matter what I said. You don't want to stay in a relationship if somebody's going to continue to treat you like this and it doesn't end, right? If this doesn't improve, why stay? Relationships are supposed to be fun and playful and happy, and you're supposed to double the joy and divide the grief. Not double the grief and divide the joy. She even mentioned, I think you're depressed. You know what? I think you're right. So I started going to therapy and counseling. It all seemed like it didn't even matter. I'm still going, by the way. She started giving me the cold, one-worded responses to everything. Wouldn't answer my calls. Suddenly, she wouldn't ask what I'm doing this weekend, and we go to her mother's or father's. Then nothing. Then she took me to a really cool show that I wanted to see. Later that day, I told her I didn't feel like I got to see her anymore. She brushed it off, because she knew it was true. What was she going to do? She doesn't want to accept reality. She doesn't want to discuss reality. She likes to sweep it under the rug, right? Just like you, she swept you under the rug and your feelings under the rug. 4 days later, she broke up with me and said all the things I said above. No, I'm sorry. No discussion, nothing. Ouch. The good times were good, and there were a lot of them. But is it possible to get those good times back to preserve the situation? Is she just confused? Well, right now she said she found someone else and she's leaving you for somebody else. So you certainly don't want to chase her and, beg her to take you back when she's excited about somebody new. Did she ever love me at all? Well, I don't see why she wouldn't have ever loved you in her own way, but maybe not to the extent that you loved her. She might not be capable of it, right? Look at the relationship between her parents, and look at how she's acted in this relationship. She was supportive in the beginning, but that may have just been the excitement and the newness of the relationship. Is this type of relationship worth trying to mend? Well, at this point like this, I wouldn't. I mean, if she wants to come back and really work on this and act like an adult, then you can look at it again. But, you are the one that was trying to repair this the whole time. He says, I have no idea what I did or didn't do. Well, what you wanted was more closeness than she probably wasn't able to give. I suspect you have an anxious attachment style, and she has an avoidant attachment style. And so she doesn't like closeness. She probably doesn't trust people. She doesn't want to get close. And so when you get too close to her, she doesn't have the resources to sit there and say, I don't like being this close. I need some space. What she does is she just brushes you off, ignores you, pushes you away, says she doesn't want to talk about it, and does whatever she can so you can't get that closeness with her. So, you need to think about if this woman is capable of giving you the kind of closeness that you want in a relationship. Now, maybe she could, but I don't think it's going to happen overnight. She's got to do some work on herself, and I don't know if she will. You will, and you are, and so you should continue to work on yourself. Do I think this woman will come back? It's possible. Basically leaving because she thinks she's found somebody better, and after that falls apart, she could easily come back again. But if I'm in your situation, I'm working really, really hard on myself. I'm making me the priority. And if she acts like an adult and wants to come work it out with you, then that's another story, and you can look at it, but look closely, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're back to the way things were, because that hurt bad. You want a closeness, and she didn't want that level of closeness. She did everything that she could to keep you at a distance. So, if you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching, I do Skype coaching. If you got to get with me right away, I do offer emergency Skype coaching. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching. Just click on Margaret on the top of the website and you can schedule with her. That's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.
Hi, I'm Coach Margaret, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist with 35 years experience. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me to get professional help on your situation. Go to askcraig.net to sign up for a personal coaching with me.